I feel like the first group is in a pretty good groove, right now, and I think that the thing that excites me most is some young guys that haven't really played a lot of football. I think we're starting to see flashes from them, and I think they're starting to grasp what we're doing, offensively, and they're starting to show up in some of the live drills. So that's pretty exciting.
How important is this week? You guys are kind of getting to that midway point and heading into that second half and getting ready for the first game, the scrimmage thing on Saturday. Is this an important week for you guys to get to a spot to get ready and start preparing for the season?
Yeah. I mean, it definitely. And we have, you only have so many practices in training camp before you start playing games, and we still have a lot of work to do. And I think the tendency is you get into kind of the middle of week two, and guys get tired, they get sore, and they got to battle through some things, and we got to take advantage of every opportunity that we can to get better. We need everybody out there, and so I think it's really important for us just to push through that soreness, the tiredness, and maximize, every opportunity that we get.
What do you think are some of the things that the team still needs to improve upon, and what are some of the things that they have already improved upon?
I just things to improve. I think one thing would be just our physicality, our overall physicality, particularly like in situations where we know we got to run the ball. I think we've struggled a little bit at in early camp, and that's been kind of a challenge to the offensive line and the tight ends and the backs. They know we're going to probably lean towards the run in this situation when it was a 4-minute drill or a goal line situation, and we've got to be able to be physical up front and get that thing done. And so that's one area I think offensively that we put a big stress on. And some of the things that we've gotten better at, I think, just as the situational aspect, and I feel like we've put them through the 2-minute drill, the 4-minute drill, and I feel like our time management, our just operation offensively is so much cleaner than it was a year ago. So that excites me. It's the signs of more of a veteran team.
What was the scrimmage the other day, when you looked at the video, what are a couple things you want to see you guys improve? A couple pointers that you want to really see them improve in the next scrimmage?
Just the details of everything, and the first group I thought did some really good things. The second group and third group, it was one or two guys on a play making a mistake or making an error that put us on a negative play or caused us to miss an opportunity, and it stopped a number of drives. And that's something those young players have just got to be more consistent with their assignment, with their technique, and their execution of what we're asking them to do. And I think we'll be more successful with those younger groups.
With Tristan and Jake, when we see the throws, when you're watching the video and you're now analyzing the practices, what are a couple of underrated things you're looking at when you're trying to figure out who's my guy, I guess?
I think timing, the timing of routes, being on time with certain things. I also think ball placement and the targeting of some of that stuff. A lot of times both of those guys are making the right read. It's just is where he's going to put it allow us for some more yards after the catch. Both of them are really good players, so sometimes you're having to dig pretty deep to find some differences. Those are a couple, and then I think, like you said, situational awareness, making plays on third down, and that's something that we really stress to our quarterbacks. Is big-time quarterbacks make plays on third down and keep drives going, and we've been really looking at those guys in third down situations, their ability to make plays or extend plays and keep the chains moving.
Keeping things on the offense, Isaiah looked really good today. What have you seen from his growth from last year going into his junior year this year so far?
I think he's running better, and I think that's helped him a lot. I think he's able to stretch people and threaten people. He has a threat of going vertical, and I think that's helped his game a lot. And then I just think that the details and understanding of the techniques that he's doing, and Coach Hinson's moving him around. He's playing some different positions, but just the detail of the technique he plays with is super sharp, and I think that shows up every day. And he's just been a really consistent guy that you can really always count on.
From an offensive standpoint, how much has the defense improved?
I think tremendously. I think they're so much more physical up front. In the secondary, they're challenging more balls, and I thought they got after us pretty good for a lot of that scrimmage, with the exception of a couple drives by the first team. So, I think that they've improved. I think they're better than they were last year. I'm excited for them to go play against somebody else, I guess.
Josiah was kind of one of the buzz guys coming out of spring practice. Do you feel like he's hit the ground running coming here, or are there some things he's still kind of working through to be the player that you guys want him to be?
He's still work in progress, but he's further along, no question. And so I think with Josiah, it's just that consistent attention to detail every play. There'll be 3 unbelievable plays that we're like, man, he can really go, and then there's one play where maybe it's a mental mistake or something that he's got to clean up, and he's coming. And so I think these next weeks are really important for him, but we're really excited about him, and I mean, he shows up every day making some plays, and so we've got to keep developing him, and I know that he'll show up, this season.
How has Jake adjusted so far to transferring here to this? Is there a clear-cut winner right now for the kicker, or how's that looking so far?
Say again, the
for Scarton, for the kicking.
I think it's been good. I've enjoyed watching those guys. I'm not with those guys, on the day-to-day, but I get to watch them, and it was good at the end of the scrimmage and the end of a couple practices. He pulled the team up and asked those guys to make some pressure kicks, and those guys have responded in those situations. So I think the competition's been good for both those guys.